Today on Pro Church Daily, we're talking about the beginner's guide to using a teleprompter.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Daily, the show where in 10 minutes or less you'll get your daily dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we navigate the biggest communication shift that we've seen in the last 500 years. I'm your host, Alex Mills, joined as always by the boss man. It is Brady Shearer, and today we're talking about the beginner's guide to using a teleprompter.
Alex, I have presented more than 30,000 individual church announcements over the last 5 years.
That's not a little bit.
It's not a little bit. It's an unusual skill. It's not especially helpful,
Right.
But it will be for this episode.
Yeah, it's pretty niche.
Of Pro Church Daily, where we're going to be talking about the beginner's guide, the starter's guide to learning to read on a teleprompter. It is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It is not something that comes natural to anyone. And unless you had a news anchor, mother or father, it's unlikely that you have any experience in this. Maybe you had to give a speech during public school. Maybe you've taught a sermon before. It is nothing like that.
No, it's way harder than you think it is. And now that I know how hard it is, when I'm watching videos on the internet and I know somebody's reading from a prompt, but I see them doing it really well, I'm like, wow, respect. Like, you're reading like really well. Like, I can't even, like, I know you're reading, but I can't tell that you're reading.
Right.
I would not have been able to respect that before because I just thought, you just get up there, you read the words, move along. But it's way harder than you think it is.
That being said, it can be learned, and you can get better at this. We're going to get into a ton of really practical tips. There's really only one tip that you need to take away from this, which is you only truly get good at this by practicing a ton. It's kind of like push-ups. You can learn as much as you want about push-ups. We can do a Pro Church Daily episode on it. Until you actually do one and practice every day, it's really hard to get better
You've
at
done
it.
over 30,000 and you're still just okay.
Are you talking about push-ups or announcements?
Announcements.
Harsh. All right, let's move on to the tips. Tip number one. Maintaining a minimum distance of 7 feet between the teleprompter and the talent. And this is to minimize the eyes darting back and forth as they read left and right on the teleprompter. I went in with a tape measure to measure the distance between the teleprompter, where we film our video announcements, and the mark on the floor with our gaff tape where the talent stands.
Right.
And it was just about 7 feet. I would recommend making it 8 feet or greater, but our studio is so small that was the most room that we could get. 7 feet, we don't notice any eyes darting when our talent records on video announcements, but the more distance, the better. Right. The closer you get to the teleprompter, we did this once. We put on a wide lens, and I wanted to get this really cool look where there's this really wide lens that made the room behind me look really big, and then I had to stand so close to the teleprompter.
Yeah.
And then we watched afterwards, and you can see my eyes going back and forth, because I'm literally like 18 inches away from the lens. It's a huge giveaway to see eyes moving back and forth. So first is make sure you have a minimum distance of 7 feet between the teleprompter and where you're standing.
Yeah.
Secondly, I did this tip all the time when I was first getting started. I would pre-read the script before I actually hit play. Now, this is probably a given for most of you. You probably write your own script. Nowadays, when I'm doing video announcements, I'll jump into the studio, I'll film 25 to 30 in an hour to an hour and a half, and I won't pre-read any of them because I've just got to be as efficient with my time as I can. Right. And I've gotten to the point where I'll make maybe 1 or 2 mistakes in that 90-minute period, but at the very beginning, churches would send in their video announcement scripts, and I would make sure I pre-read them to be like, okay, that word, I don't know how to pronounce that, I got to focus on that. So that's just a great way of preparing your mind what's about to happen.
Right.
Tip number 3, high contrast words and a high contrast background. So when we set up our teleprompter, we have neon green text on a black background. You really want the words to pop on the screen.
Yeah.
You don't want anything hindering you in your ability to read the words. And so making sure that there's a high contrast between the background and the words is key. Again, we use neon green and a black background. That's kind of the preset that comes with our app.
Yep.
We will talk about the app in just a little bit. Okay, let's get into the actual presenting patterns that you need to consider. You want to be more expressive with your face than with your hands. And this is in exact contrast to if you're teaching a sermon from stage.
Right.
You, from stage, need to translate your gestures and emotions and expressions to an entire room.
Yeah.
When you are speaking on camera and reading from a teleprompter, it's very much like me and Alex speaking to one another. So if I'm this close to Alex and I'm like, great to see you, Alex.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Right.
So great, man. You're such a good guy. I'd be like,
Yeah.
You need to settle.
You need to relax.
And so inverse to what you would do normally on stage to a live audience, you want to be very expressive with your face, but you want to understate your hand gestures.
Right.
And so one litmus test for this is when you are recording and you're playing back your recording of yourself, hit pause. If your face looks really silly, really dumb, that's a good thing.
Right.
That means you are being expressive enough with your face. If you press pause and you don't laugh at yourself, you can probably take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Expressive with your face, understate the hand gestures.
It's funny because, we put out so much video content and most of it has you in it. And so people online, especially in Facebook groups, will take screenshots of you and pause the video. You're making an outrageous face and they'll post it and in all in good fun and tag you or whatever. And they think they're making fun of you or whatever. It's no, that's actually telling me that I'm doing a really good job of presenting this on video. So thanks for that.
It's a great litmus test.
Yeah.
Actually, I just created that litmus test to make it so that no one can make fun of me. Okay, here's another great pro tip. You want to have a resting spot for your hands. So the way I do it is if you're watching this video, I kind of clasp my hands. What is this part? Where the base of the thumb meets the base of the pointer finger.
Sure.
It's kind of just this in-between part.
Yeah,
I put those two areas together on my hands. So I don't clasp my hands, but I just have this comfortable resting spot that I use as my default position. And from there, I really only have 3 or 4 moves that I recommend to new presenters. It's go right, go left, right hand, left hand. And then if you're being really expressive, it's the 2-hand. Thank you, Lord.
There it is.
And that's all you have to worry about. Because what I see newbie presenters struggling with is they're all up in their head about what they're doing with their hands, that they struggle to actually read the words well, and then they come off very robotic. And it's very difficult to focus on those two things at once because one is mental and one is physical. And there's only so much brain power that you have. And if you're trying to dedicate it to both, you can't really do both. And then you end up dedicating one more than the other. And if that's the case, you want to dedicate as much brain power as you can to focusing on what you're reading and making it feel natural. So to help with that, just have that default resting position. Go right, go left. When you're really wanting to make a point, thank you, Lord. 2 hands out, like you're receiving from Jesus.
Yeah.
Those are the movements that I recommend. That way, you don't have to think about what your hands are doing, and you can focus all of that brain power and energy on reading and presenting well.
Yeah, there you go.
Moving on to some other tips. This is a weird thing that I did. This is probably a dumb tip. There were 2 weird things that I did when I first started on camera. One, I would always raise my chin to the sky. If you go back to our earliest YouTube videos, the church video series, there's 40 of them on this gray green screen. The reason we used a green screen was because it was in my 1-bedroom apartment. Right. Collapsible green screen. Had to set it up, tear it down so we could eat dinner. Good times. You'll notice this thing where I'm always lifting my chin up. Well, hey there. How's it going? Maybe it was hard to hear that because I was lifting my chin to the sky. Yeah. And I also did this thing. I would have trouble keeping flat feet. So I would have Mitchell set me up with a perfect amount of headroom. And then I would stand up on my tippy toes and I'd go up and down I'm probably making more of it than it actually was, but they were just these slight lifts with my heels, probably just because I was having so much energy. And I noticed that to a normal human, it wouldn't look bad at all.
Right.
But when the whole screen is static and the frame is static and you have your talent bobbing up and down, it's tremendously distracting. Yeah. So just focus on keeping flat feet. And I have noticed this with other presenters that I've trained, so I don't think it's completely a weird thing to me. Maybe I'm just blaming that. Maybe it is a weird thing to me. You'll never know. Finally, let's talk about some tools that you can use. We use the Telmax tablet teleprompter for our iPad, which is what we use for our video announcements. We also use the Parrot teleprompter, which is very mobile and very portable, also tremendously affordable. It's $99.
It's tiny.
And we use that for when we want to present from an actual mobile device, from a phone. And then finally, the app that we use is the Teleprompt Plus app. It's not great, but it is the best available from what I've found. And if you want to compare yourself to how I present, this is on a tablet. I present at 3.5 speed at 60-point font. Really, being comfortable comes down so much to having the words at a pace that you are comfortable with. Yeah. So each of the presenters here does something a bit different. Some are a bit slower with smaller text. Some are a bit faster with bigger text. Some are a bit slower with smaller text, whatever it is. Right. So you got to experiment, find what works with you. For me, I like 3.5 speed, 60-point font.
There you go.
That'll do it for today's episode of Pro Church Daily. We'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode of Pro Church Daily. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss another video and hit the church bell for notifications.
And if you like this video, it really does mean the world to us if you like it.